Hey racing fans, Doug Henwood with you one more time. How you doing? Tonight, March the 1st, Friday night, I want to do a special broadcast dedicated to harness racing at Fraser Downs, located in Cloverdale, just outside of Greater Vancouver. I'm wearing all my gear. I should mention, first of all, that I'm a Calgarian who enjoyed some racing at Stampede Park before the days of Century Downs, moved to south side of Vancouver, and for 10 years enjoyed live racing at Fraser Downs. A couple of years back, I made the move to the island. I got a couple of grandchildren, and believe it or not, that actually trumped being able to go see live racing. So there's something that's interesting and a good perspective for all of us, I think. However, I do miss my Fraser Downs racing, and live racing is always the way to go. So I wanted to have an evening where I get a little, I focus on Fraser Downs. So here I am. I want to talk about Friday night's card at Fraser and see what you think. I'm actually going to provide horse by horse information and let you know how objective handicapping, which is what I represent, actually works really well at Fraser Downs. It's a 5/8 of a mile little track. Summertime can be glorious there. In the wintertime, for sure, we get our share of rain, so you're dealing with tracks that are either sloppy or drying out from being sloppy. Typically, speed holds up very well. Trip horses do great, and it's important to know that there's a passing lane in the stretch that very often comes into play. If you get a good 2-hole or even 3-hole trip, and you can stay patient, if the speed comes back at all, that position and then up the rail can often find the drivers get there in time at big odds. So be aware of those things as we go through our review. I wanted to show you my swag. So there's my Fraser Downs hat. And I'm missing my Fraser Downs shirt, so I thought I'd represent with Hastings, which is a phenomenal thoroughbred track just on the east side of Vancouver. When it's the summertime and you can be parked outside at Hastings enjoying some races, there's not much better place to be in my mind. So anyway, let's get to it. I'm gonna do what I normally do, which is give you front half speed information about the horses, and that's definitely important at Fraser. And we're going to also talk about adjusted closing quarter. Remember, when I say adjusted closing quarter, that means I'm going to penalize horses that do have a good closing quarter number, but maybe finish 6 or 7 lengths behind. I don't think that's as good a indicator as a decent closing number, but the horse finished, say, 2 lengths or less behind. So that's what I mean when I say adjusted closing quarter. And we got 8 races at Fraser Downs tonight. I don't have any of the scratches. I'm doing this a bit early. We're going to feature a pick 5. I think it's a $1 pick 5, so I can't say I love that bet. We'll figure out how to drive some bigger pools at Fraser. But probably one of my favorite tickets at Fraser is the 20-cent pick 4. It's a challenging little track based on shorter fields. Sometimes it's a challenging little track to make money. You got to be either really focused in on the likely horses and maybe increasing your exacta or try bet, or you got to know that the favorites are coming in, but you know what, they're coming in until they don't, and then things go boom, and if you're on the right horses, you can absolutely have a big payday at Fraser. So each race represents its own challenge, but let's go through it and see what we think. So the first race at Fraser Downs, the 1 horse, Tell the Heroes Go High. That's an interesting name. Sports rider, slow speed indicator, but it came home really nice last race. 30-2 we got for a closing move. So this horse actually is going to figure in our thinking. Watching Marina the 2, Scott Knight, nice driver. Again, slow opening fractions. About a 30-2 coming home. And then Master Liberty, the 3, Kelly Hort's driving, did last week as well. Just missed, comes second by a neck. And again, a 30-2 closing quarter. 4 horses, Tahuya Silk. It's a first-time starter off of a qualifier. Qualifier was okay. I don't know if I like it as much as the others, though. 31-2 was his adjusted closing quarter coming home, so probably not today for me. And Will You Catch Me, the 5, another first-time starter. I'm not too sure where Chakara Atsiro as a sire has come from, but it's showing up now on our BC forms. I don't love the looks of that first qualifier. We'll definitely just have a look at this horse today. The 6, Heaven's Wind, Tyson Jacoby on it. Actually showing in relative terms the best speed in this race. I think it has an opportunity to maybe be part of this today, and a reasonable closing move as well. 7 is Toby the Tiger, Kevin Anderson. Kevin tends to drive usually from the back. He's pretty successful with his late moves. He's got a 30-3 closing move, but the outside post probably won't help. The 8-horse Lou Valley. Remember that at Fraser, right at the moment at least, the 8 horses going to go from a trailing position. So that's actually an advantage. It's a lot better than being on the outside and trying to navigate the tighter turns. So I think an inside trailing position is an advantage. This horse qualified very ordinarily, though. Was 4th by 19 lengths. 206. I think we'll just pass on this one today. So our front half speed is the 6 horse Heaven's Wind. 672 are our front half selections. Adjusted closing quarters. It's a 1, 2, and 3 tie. And I'm going to break that tie and go with Master of Liberty on top with Kelly Hort. So we'll take the 3. And for second 1, Tell the Heroes Go High. And 2, Watching Marina. So I think everything's right on the inside for this race. We'll go 3, 1, 2, 6 in the first race. In the second, Martini Please is the 1, driven by Rod Terrace. It's actually the speed of the race. It's had 1 maiden race since it's come back from its qualifier, led all the way and tired just a little bit at the end. Should figure to be tough, certainly in the money. Diamond of Acero with Kelly Hort on for Donna Cunningham. Again, only a qualifier. Didn't look that impressive in the qualifier, so I think we absolutely have to wait, have a look at this one before we invest any money. The 3 is Tahuya Sweet Chloe. Pretty ordinary looking form. I'm going to pass on this one. 4 is Wednesday's Child. Interesting, it's an all bets off filly, I guess. All bets off is an up-and-coming sire in Ontario. This horse has had 5 starts, maybe coming around. Only the 2 starts this year, though, so maybe we'll give it another start. I don't think I'm ready to put some dough on this one tonight. 5 is Beyond the Horizon. When you're talking Western Canadian racing, you're going to see it dominated by Custard the Dragon as a sire and Vertical Horizon. And this one is a Vertical Horizon filly. Coming off a qualifier, qualified beautifully. Went second all the way, showed a move down the stretch and won by half length in 29 seconds flat. This horse figures big time. In fact, I'm going to use it as my pick. 6 is Senorita Draco. Ran in a lot of the BC Sire stake races last year. Did okay, actually, and this is its first start coming off a qualifier where it just roared to the front and won by over 5 lengths, so got to figure to be tough. 7 is I'm a Fireball. 3 qualifiers. Not horrible. Can't say I love the post, but it's possible to get a piece, I think. And 8 is Catch Me on Top. A Baron Hanover filly. You won't see Baron Hanover anywhere other than in BC or potentially Alberta. He was a great horse in his day, that's for sure. Selection wise, our front half picks are 1, 8, and 3. Adjusted closing quarter is the 5, 6, and then 1 and 8 are tied. And I'm going to stick absolutely with the back half of things. So the pick for me is the 5, Beyond the Horizon. For second, the 6, Senorita Draco. It's probably right there in terms of the exacta. And for third, the 1, Martini Please. Fourth, the 8, Catch Me on Top. So 5, 6, 1, and 8 in the second at Fraser. In race number 3, the 1 is Outlaw Tough Enough. Just getting started with his career. He had a qualifier, and then would you know it, scratch sick in its first start back on the 15th of Feb. So this is really the first time we're going to see this one in an actual race. Post 1 is not a bad thing at Fraser, and I think it's got a shot, so definitely possible. For the 2 is Sylvester, Blaine Chapel. Kind of running ordinarily. Ran in actually some BC stake races again, the Millbank Series last fall. Got small pieces, and now it's coming off of a qualifier. I'm probably going to wait a week. We'll definitely see what it does tonight. Don't think it's a threat on the top tonight for me. The 3 is Better Than Luck. Again, just coming off of a qualifier. Hasn't ran since October, but it was a nice qualifier. Ran along third all the way. Came home only beaten 2 lengths in 29, so I think this horse has a shot. 4 is Talladega with Dave Hudon doing the driving. Got a little bit of speed. Not doing too much on the end of things so far. 5 is Alligator. He showed up big time last week. Won its maiden, and guess what? He still fits in this maiden category. Started out 5th, drove up to win by a head. Got to figure to be awfully tough again here. 6 is Tahuya Ideal, John Abbott driving. Again, hasn't shown much, so I'm going to ignore him. 7 is Moneybags. Again, nice race last week. Was leading all the way when Alligator come up and just nailed him at the wire. So like Moneybags, the 7. 8 is going to do the trailing position for us again. You do the math. And the 3 qualifiers actually looks like it could pop up and surprise us here, especially with that trailing position where you just have a nice trip, and it's shown a couple of good seconds in 2 of its 3 qualifiers, so it's certainly possible. So for me, I'm going to go with the 5, Alligator. For second, the 7, Moneybags. 3, I think Better Than Luck for third, and 4 horse, or the 8 horse, You Do the Math for fourth. So 5, 7, 3, and 8 in the 4th race. In the 3rd race, sorry about that, in the 4th at Fraser, the 1 horse Outlaw End of an Era, running really well. But it's interesting, it actually had a nice 3rd on Feb 15th, and trainer Rod Terrace decided he wanted to put another qualifier into this one, make sure it was tight. So that's what happened, and it won its qualifier. So rail fitness, Alan Malloy's a pretty decent rider, so all things considered, this horse is going to figure highly. 2, LD's Contessa, been running good. Not as solid last time, but was trying against tougher. So dropping back in here, and figures to be tough. 3 is Bohemian Rhapsody, kind of running middle of the road, 3rds and 4ths and 5ths. That's probably what I expect here, although you know what, it is dropping a condition, so might find these a little easier. Can't ignore it, that's for sure. 4 is Roland with Holly A. Rod Terrace brought this one in, and we knew it was a speed horse. Well, it just cranked off the gate like you wouldn't believe last week. 55 and 4 to the half, and did tire a little bit at the end, but just got caught by a length. Ran a very solid second. Figures to absolutely be on the front again. 5 is Salary, coming in from Century Mile in Edmonton. Driven by Paul Urquhart, and no offense to Paul, but Paul doesn't do too many drives, and I think based on the shipping, I'm just going to maybe pass on this one for a week. Had a second in its last start at Edmonton, but I really do think these are actually, it's a pretty decent field, so we'll wait a week before we consider including Salary. 6 horses in High Cotton. This is a Owned, trained, and driven by Kelly Hort. I mentioned earlier, you just can never ignore Kelly. First start in Fraser last week, ran along second, finished third, only beaten a little over a length, and actually now dropping a condition as well. This one does have the potential to also go right to the top and just go all the way, or Kelly could decide to take it back and come with a move. Either way, I think the horse figures big time. So my selections this race, I'm going to go with the 6 In High Cotton. For second, Outlaw End of an Era. Third place, the 4 should again be tough at the beginning and then maybe tire and finish pretty close. Rolling with Holly A, that's the 4. And for fourth, LD's Contessa. 6, 1, 4, and 2 in the fourth race at Fraser. Moving on to the 5th. The one horse is Catch Me Gracefully. These are non-winners of 2. Catch Me Gracefully running really well, actually. It's won 2 maiden races in a row, so it finally got kicked out and it's moved up a category. But you know what? It's won 2 in a row. So, and the rail is never a bad thing, as I mentioned, so it figures to be tough. Outlaw Electric Blue is the 2. Owned, trained, and driven by Connie Coldhammer. She's a Alberta lady with a lot of talent and typically really well-bred horses. This looks to be another one, and she was on it last week, finished only 3/4 of a length behind. Figures to get another good trip and to be tough coming home for sure. 3 is Heart of a Dragon. This is another Custard the Dragon, making good dough. Took the lead in its last and just got caught, finished second, beaten 2. Should be tough again today, I think. 4 is Karma to Get You. This horse has been winning a few races here, but these look a little tougher to me. So Karma to Get You has a bit of speed in my own mind. Going to be contested speed this race and may not get a piece, maybe on the low end of things. 5 is Fighter Gem. Kind of running evenly, 3rds and 5ths, but right in this category. It's been running in the non-winners of 2, and it does have a nice 29 and 1 adjusted closing quarter. I'm going back to Feb 8th to grab that one. I don't go back too far, but based on track condition, and either outside post or breaks in stride, just that sort of thing, I may go back a couple of races in order to find a competitive race that we'll use in our calculations. So Fighter Gem, 29 and 1 makes it definitely figure for a piece. 6 is Great Emotion. Another likely speed horse. Again, ran in the Millbank Stakes Series last fall. Had a qualifier and then 1 start where it ran along 3rd. That's a pretty decent first start, I think. Probably with these figures on the edges in my mind. 7 is Stonebridge Fib. A qualifier, a couple of qualifiers in February, trying to get started. Broke stride in its only start in 2024. I think for sure we'll let the trainer and driver Travis Tracy figure this one out. So we'll pass on Stonebridge Fib today. The 8 in the trailing position is the Divine Miss M. Again, I love the trailing position at Fraser, actually. It's not a bad thing unless you're a full-on speed horse who's going to feel stifled by that. So 1 race this year, finished 4th, beaten 2 lengths. It could potentially get a piece of the show dough. For me, though, selection-wise, our speed horses are 1 and 5. And in the closing quarter aspect of things, it's the 3, 2, and 5. And again, I'm sticking with adjusted closing quarter for my handicapping. I'm going to go with the 3, Heart of a Dragon to win it. For second, number 2, Outlaw Electric Blue. For third, the 5, Fighter Gem. And the 1, Catch Me Gracefully for 4th. So in the 5th race, we like 3, 2, 5, and 1. This is the start of the 20-cent pick 4. Again, how to play that, you definitely want to win it, but many evenings it doesn't pay a ton. So I'm gonna play it small and then potentially come back with a second ticket where you tighten it up and even focus in on the ones you like even more. Maybe you'll catch it a couple of times, but my basic 20-cent ticket is 2 and 3 in the first leg, 2 and 5 in the second leg, with 2, 3, 4, and then 4, 5, 7. So that's a $7.20 investment for a 20-cent ticket. And I think we got a better than average chance of getting this one. That's the fifth race at Fraser. In the sixth, we got a non-winners of 4. Pretty nice group of horses. The one is Positively Special. I played him last week and he disappointed me, but he did have an outside post. Moving inside today. These are about the same. I think it's got a shot to redeem itself, but probably only for a piece. Do have a driver change as well. We're going from Jacoby to Dave Hudon. Dave's a fixture at Fraser. Definitely knows what he's doing, so that might help this horse along as well. 2 is Hearts Are Racing. Tyson Jacoby actually went here from the 1, so I'm not sure who decided what, but Hearts Are Racing is a definite player in this race. Come home in 28 and 3 in his last. We'll adjust that up to 29 and 1. Pretty good. I would say a finish close in this group. 3 is She's Bodacious with Brad Watt. Definitely a speed factor here. Not so sure it'll go all the way. It's certainly a chance to get on the ticket. 4 is Crown Princess. The fans love this horse. She's typically bet down as the favorite week in, week out. And she's been getting pieces, but she hasn't been winning. So Crown Princess definitely deserves to be on the ticket. 5 is Diva Amor. This is a fun one in that it's a full sister to Codename Cigar Box. Probably one of the best horses that the West has shipped down to onto the Ontario circuit. Codename's definitely had a great 2 or 3 years down there. Diva Amor's taken a little while to come along, and I'm sure not saying it's a Codename Cigar Box, but you know what? She went wire to wire here in her first start at Fraser last week, or pretty close to wire to wire. Won by over 2 lengths, moving up a touch, but again, I think based on all we know about this horse, probably I expect her to be really close, if not actually to win this. 6 is A Little Bit of Custard, another Custard the Dragon. It's been running along thirds. I don't love the post 6. Doesn't have that much speed, so probably it's a no for me. 7 is You're Not Worth My Time, Kevin Anderson. Again, the post 7 is challenging unless you have a lot of speed or the track's favoring the deep closers, which it doesn't do very often. So maybe not a bad time for me to just remind you that no matter what track we're playing, we should be tracking the track variant for the night and race by race, really. So see who's your first 4 horses at the first quarter, and then right below that, the 4 final finishers. And that tells you how the speed is doing, how the closers are doing, and that should be a big part of your handicapping, especially at Fraser Downs. So based on that, initially my thoughts are not tonight for the 7 based on posts and just what I'm seeing on paper. The 8's going to come from a trailing position. Tahuya Platinum broke last race, 7th the race before that. It's going to have to get its act together before I'll want to jump on, so no for me tonight. So our speed horses are 4, 3, and 5. Closing quarter horses are 5, 2, and 1. I'm going to go with Diva Amor. I got to admit, I'm kind of in love with Codename Cigar Box and the relationship. And Kelly Hort training and driving. It's just not a bad thing. Probably the favorite or co-favorite in this race, but I'm excited to watch this one. For second, the 2 Hearts Are Racing. For third, the 4 Crown Princess, and 1 Positively Special for 4th, and a piece of the Superfecta. So 5, 2, 4, 1 in the 6th at Fraser. In the 7th, we're going to go, these are $5,000 claimers, $4,400 purse. The one is JK Pure Gold. Alan Malloy on. It's got a little bit of speed, but probably going to back off a little bit and look for a trip. So the 2 is an interesting horse. It's been running at Running Aces down at the bottom. Came to Fraser last year and was having a heck of a time staying flat. Came back with a qualifier on February 16th, and then a heck of a race where it started out being 7th, 16 behind, and it ended up only beaten by 2.5 lengths. That's a heck of a move. Post 2, if we can build on that, this horse has really a potential to just upset and win, but definitely think it figures to be on the ticket. So that's, see if we can even say this, curves are easy on the eyes. That's the 2. 3 horse, Forever Furley, been running week in, week out, getting good pieces, having a heck of a time beating Million Reasons, but it's been getting good checks every week. 4 is Million Reasons. This horse has been, it's a nice speed horse. The last couple of weeks it's taken the 2-hole trip and then come on in the stretch to win a couple in a row. Running against the same group, so hard to believe this one won't be very, very tough again in here. 5 is Oh Look at Me. Came from the trailing position 8 last race to finish a closing 3rd against the same stuff. So again, good chance of being right there again. 6 is Living on Adrenaline. 5th and 6th in its last few. The numbers, speed and otherwise, are just kind of in the middle, so I don't think so for me. And the 7, same with the 7, Don't Rock the Boat Baby. Just not on its best form. That'll be a tough post, so not for me today. The trailer is 3 More Smiles, and this is a classy horse. It's won an awful lot of races at Fraser. Terry Kaufman owns, trains, and drives. Maybe a tough assignment in here, though, just not quite on its form. It's either going to just pop, because it's got an awful lot of back class, or it's going to find Million Reasons in the group difficult, because they're certainly on their form. So speed horse is 4, 1, and 5. Closing quarter, Forever Furley the 3, 2, and 4. I'm going to go right back to, selection-wise, I'm going to go right back to Million Reasons, the 4. Until they beat this horse, I think you got to keep playing it. Won't be a big price, that's for sure. For second, Forever Furley, number 3, and 2. Curves are easy on the eyes for 3rd. I'm going to play the 1 for 4th. So I'm basically ignoring 3 More Smiles. He's going to take a lot of money based on the drop. And again, he's been good to a lot of people here for a long time. I could be wrong. He easily could be part of the ticket, but to me it looks like 4, 3, 2, 1 in the 7th. In the 8th and final, this is a real nice group of horses. It's a $10,000 purse, 20,000 claimers with some also eligibles, non-winners of 9, etc. Good group. 1 is Danzig to Dharma. 1 start since the qualifier, ran essentially at this level. Slow out of the gate, drove up to get charging 4th. Might possibly do just as well today. Certainly going to like the rail. The 2 is Haughty on the Horizon. Decent speed. Inside is a good thing. Doesn't come home that well. So on the fringes for me. 3 is Stonebridge Jade. Again, kind of a middle of the road horse. Certainly could get a piece. 4 is Mystic Shadow. This one upset the apple cart against essentially the same group last week at 15 to 1. Brad Watt's been driving, knows the horse. So I like Mystic Shadow to do potentially, if the track bias sets up for a closer, he'll be doing just what he did last week and be right there. 5 is Western Summit. A nice horse, consistently looking for a good trip and then firing when it comes home. It's won 2 in a row. Moving up a touch into the next category here. But I think it figures one more time. It's good. It should get a piece of this. 6 is Hang On Sloopy. Bit of an in and outer. It won a couple of starts back. And then it was a vet scratch sick. And last time off to the front and tired a little bit. But only got beat 2 lengths. So it's got good speed. If it's the one that fires off the gate, it certainly has a chance to get on the ticket. 7 is my favorite. It's Gray Sea, another Custard the Dragon. What makes this one fun is it's, to my knowledge, it's certainly the only gray Custard the Dragon that I have come across. And of course, it's getting that gray color from its sire, the sire of the Dam. That sire being Admiral's Galley, who's pretty legendary down in Ontario. Produced some great ones. So I like Gracie, and it's 114 out of 29 in its lifetime. Got good speed. It's just going to be close. Tough for sure. Ada's Gin is better. Better than Cheddar Ontario bred. Been doing actually quite good out here, getting checks every time. Got the trailing position, so that should be buyer beware. This one has a shot. So selection-wise, the speed is 7, 6, and 2. Closing quarter, adjusted closing quarter is the 5 and 3. And then I have a three-way tie for third. So it's 4, 6, and 8 tied for third. Selection-wise, though, again, I think I mentioned I'm kind of in love with Gracie. So we're going to go with Gracie on the top, hoping that it will turn out to be the speed, or at least leave the gate well and get good position and be tough coming home. So Gracie on top for second, Western Summit number 5. 4, Mystic Shadow for third. Again, if the track bias is favoring the closers, you may want to move him up because he definitely just flew by these in the last. And for fourth, the 3, Stonebridge Jade. 7, 5, 4, 3 in the last race at Fraser for tonight, Friday, March the 1st. Fraser Downs, one of my favorite places to be. If you're sitting down in Woodbine and you've had a decent night, or you get home from playing your card there, switch on HPI and catch the last few at Fraser. It is a lot of fun. Dan Jukic always is great on the mic. So bottom line is, hope you have some luck with these picks. Definitely wish you luck. And bottom line is always have fun. Pleasure. Talk to you soon.